Hey everyone, this is Phil, and let's take a quick look at the Analogue Amsterdam AF-1. If you're not aware, the AF-1 is a film compact camera, just like the Lomo MCA that I did a video on last month, that has been engineered from the ground up, as far as we know, by a film development shop in Amsterdam in conjunction with of course, factories in China. If you're involved with manufacturing in any way, you know that anything can be made in China. You will find a supplier for the parts you need if you have the money, the time, and the persistence. And they would probably be connected to other manufacturers that can make pretty much any part that you need, and it'll snowball and you will get made what you need to make. Now, with that said, the way they marketed this is they dripped out the information so little by little and so slowly that many people actually thought this was a scam. I certainly have at some points, but it is apparently really real. And I was on a trip in the Netherlands for business, and I had a few hours in Amsterdam. I was just walking around with my colleague, and I noticed the Analogue logo that I've known from the videos. And I decided to stop in, and the guy from the videos was in there, and he had the camera. So I just walked in and was like, "Hey, you're real." And he said, "Yes, I am, and the camera is too." So he gave me a hands-on. He was really, really nice about it. Really genuine guy. I do believe they believe in their mission and what they're making with their camera, and you got to give props to that. The product in itself is, of course, another story, and I will give you my honest opinion on that. I'm not receiving anything in return for this. I have not been promised or anything. My pre-order is, to be honest, still pending. I did pay the €5 for the prepayment, but I haven't finalized it because I'm probably going to buy the MCA, and I don't know if I have the additional money for this. So according to the website, the AF-1's highlights are autofocus with LiDAR sensor, f2.8, large aperture optics that are crystal clear, crispy and fresh GN8 flash with 0.5 recycling time. And then it says, designed by photographers, the AF-1 combines timeless aesthetics with modern usability. Inspired by iconic compacts like the Olympus Mu series, Contax, and Yashica T, as well as the practical favorites like the Minolta Riva series and the Pentax SPO series, the camera offers a minimalist look without compromising functionality. Crafted for one-handed use, it features a firm grip and diamond-cut edges on the lens barrier for a refined touch. Every detail from the overall design to the smallest finishing details we have carefully optimized for a great shooting experience. Now, this product is definitely designed by someone who loves design, and it looks the part. And to me, interestingly, it looks very much like a camera that isn't mentioned in the list, and that's the Fuji Tiara. The Tiara is this kind of boxy little camera that is barely thicker than a film canister, and then when you slide away this panel on the front, it turns on and the lens comes out. And that's exactly how the AF-1 also functions, and it looks really, really similar on first glance. And it is apparent that they put a lot of thought in the design of this thing and how to make it look pleasing. And they did their best to make this with the current available parts and with what you can actually make at the current state of the market. Because all the factories for this thing, they're gone. So yeah, gotta give them props for that. But no further ado, let's look at the video. So you can tell right away, it is a fair bit larger than my Tiara, especially in the thickness. So it is a very boxy camera. And the thing that Ralph pointed out to me was that it is almost the same dimensions as the Pentax 17 if you factor in the grip and the lens. So it's just basically the same dimensions, but just everything boxy and just straight edges. So if you do take that in account, it's not a very large camera, but it does feel large because it's a boxy shape. On the other hand, it does not feel heavy. I don't think they have a lot of metal parts in there. I think that's a pretty plastic construction, but that's not always a bad thing. For this kind of camera, it's very much, I think, the norm. I think at that price point, a lot of people probably won't like it, but it does have the advantage of being really light. If you look at the top plate, you can see a little display on the bottom that shows you the remaining frames as well as the flash mode. Then you have two buttons to presumably set the flash mode and possibly a self timer. I'll make sure to ask and try to find out what that is for. And shutter button in the top right. On the side, you can see the battery panel. I did get to pop this open. It seems to be the same kind of rechargeable battery as the Lomo MCA. So I think that's a pretty good choice for that. I did take a quick look through the viewfinder, but unfortunately, just as with the Lomo MCA, this was a prototype where the viewfinder wasn't finished. It does have the centering mark and the frame lines, which I'm assuming aren't parallax corrected. And it did look a little blurry and a little fishbowly, but Ralph did assure me that this was just a fault of this prototype and that it was going to be fixed. Don't take it from me, that's what he told me. So hopefully they will publish some videos or some photos to show you what the final production model's viewfinder actually looks like. And then on the back, you see that blue slider, and initially I thought this might be like a crop panorama mode or something like that. It is not. It is actually the flash setting. So you can set it to on, off, or auto. And the cool thing about that is because it's a physical slider, it will stay there unless you bump it, of course. It will stay in the settings that you choose. So it will actually remember your setting, whether that is on, that is off, or it's auto. And most compact cameras default to on. As I mentioned in my hands-on, the MCA defaults to off. But having the choice is even better than that. So kudos to them for making that an actual slider. I do appreciate that choice. And then on the bottom of the camera, you can see a USB-C port. This is interestingly not to charge the camera, it's actually to update the firmware. And they are saying in the overview video that they might tweak the shooting modes afterwards, which is an interesting idea. Just remains to be seen how they actually implement it and what they actually do with it. So you can also see on the bottom, it has the same kind of strap and or tripod mount construction as the Tiara does. So it has that thread mount in the corner of the camera where you can put in a strap like this one that they're actually selling at the store, or of course a tripod. Then on the side, pretty standard unlocking lever and a film window, which is good to have. And you can see this kind of ridge there, which is designed to be a thumb grip. So it doesn't have a little ridge on the back for your thumb to act as a grip. There's nothing on the front. So it's only on the back. And on the one that I touched, there wasn't any texture or anything to it. It was just smooth plastic. And you can see it also has the cutouts for a simpler thread through kind of strap, which I think actually for this kind of body would be perfectly suitable and enough. One big plus that I noticed was that the lens motor, so the focus motor in effect, was actually really, really quiet. So you can kind of tell in the video, and I'm sorry we talked over this, but you can barely hear it coming out when I slid it open and turned it on.
Logo, I just took the logo off at some stage. Because
so that's a definite plus. They did really well with selecting the motor for that focusing apparatus. But otherwise, I didn't get to actually shoot with it. I did see, of course, the test photos that everyone saw. They do have a few more examples on their page now. Finally, they've been dripping those out at really slow pace. I get it. It's intentional. It's kind of slower than I would choose, but that's their thing to decide. Yeah, but I'm just glad someone is making these. And I think they sadly got screwed a little bit on the timing, because Lomo came out with theirs right before they announced the final sales of the AF-1. And then Kodak also announced the development of a camera from Redo. You know that Kodak is kind of loose with licensing out their name. So it's a Redo camera with the Kodak brand, but it also seems to be a compact camera that some people have been talking about. So there's options now, which there wasn't that many when this was announced. So we put it next to a few other cameras so you can see the comparison with the Rollei 35 AF, kind of the first of that newly designed batch of compact cameras, and then the Pentax 17, which is, as I said, pretty similar in dimensions. The Rollei is an interesting case, I think, because they made a lot of really ambitious choices. They went for the hardest camera to build because it's really compact, when they should have probably started with something a little easier and then worked their way up. But it's a really, I think, commendable first effort, and hopefully they'll do something more. And I think this is going to be kind of a similar story. So I do feel that it's a step up from just a generic AliExpress point and shoot. But is it enough of a step up to warrant the price? We'll have to see the final product. As I said, there's a few things that were unfinished. I am impressed with the focus motors being really quiet, and those felt really good. I do like the intentional design and just the drive to make this. They obviously invested quite a bit in the development. All of that, the prototyping, all that isn't cheap. So I do want to give them props for that. But in the end, it's going to be up to you if you want to buy it or not. As I said, I stand nothing to gain from telling you to buy it or not. And also, as I said, I'm not decided myself, because I am going to get the Lomo MCA, and I don't know if I have the additional money to get another camera at the same time. We'll probably get something after that, but right now, probably only have the money for one. We'll see. Anyway, do you agree with my assessment? Are you interested in buying this? Are you a little more pessimistic on it? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear from you, and I hope to see you again.